It has never been easier to become rich by investing in real estate. Sign up now to attend the REMIC Wealth Institute's next free wealth building seminar in your area. It doesn't matter if you have good credit, poor credit, or no credit. You'll learn how to invest in real estate with no money down, no income, and no credit. Call 1-888-887-3642 or visit www.remiccorp.com.
We're back on What's Going On. I'm your host, Colin Jobe. Really interesting show today, folks. Really interesting show. We got Timothy Barlow. Timothy's our it's our guest and our perspective coach, columnist with Vaughan Citizen. And Timothy, we've been discussing a lot of really interesting concepts so far. And I'm just trying to think of someone, you're sitting at home right now, you're hearing all this, you're thinking, oh, this all sounds well and good. But let's talk about you for a minute, Timothy. What prompted you to change? Because were you always this informed? No. Were you always this way? So this is a process for you as well.
When I began this process, I had a shaved head, I had an earring and chains and wore leathers and drove a motorcycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a completely different person.
And what was the game changer for you?
I decided to take a class called The Pursuit of Excellence.
By the book?
Yeah,
but
very similar to the book, about 17 years ago. And they introduced some ideas and concepts to improve my life. And for the first time in my life, I had dropped out of school 3 times previously. I was just floating along.
So you're just wandering.
I was just wandering, and for the first time, somebody was teaching me something I wanted to learn.
It's really connected with you.
It lit me up like a.
And did you sense that right away, or
right away?
You sensed it right away.
Well, actually, no, not quite. It was the first day I kind of.
You're fighting against it.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I guess.
But when I did kick in, I kicked in. Yeah. It was a tremendous. And then I did 3 in a row. Like, I mean, I borrowed money.
Really?
I got more.
You're a convert, right?
Yeah.
And what's the key word? Because we talk about, there's a whole, in the motivational world, there's a whole slew of terms out there.
There's only one that works for me. And the best, I mean, is accountability.
Accountability?
Yeah. And that's different than responsibility. I mean, responsibility.
Really? How so?
Well, responsibility, a lot of people, when they hear that word, they talk about fault and blame and who's
responsible.
Right. Versus accountability. Accountability basically entertains the notion that all of the results in my life are mine. I am a co-creator.
All of the results.
All of the results.
So good, bad, or indifferent.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
You caused it.
No. I am accountable. I co-created. I was a participant in. That's the difference. And it takes a longer conversation than we might have today. But essentially, that as soon as we go to cause and blame, there's fear. There's the backup. It's when we are accountable that says, what is in front of me? It's basically saying what is. I'm accepting the results that are in my life. I'm accepting where I'm at. I'm no longer a victim of what happened. I am a co-creator.
So this is a choice.
It's a choice. There is no way to prove accountability. If you try to wrap your brain around it, you'll hurt yourself. It's like you have to, at some point, you have to take a leap of faith that says, I will now own my results, good, bad, or indifferent.
But that's in conflict with a lot of stuff that we hear.
Absolutely. And we live in a world of blame.
Yeah.
I mean, Just go down to a session at Parliament.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've met people who, in my opinion, love being a victim.
Love it. Oh,
they love it.
Great.
I'm like, seriously.
Are you kidding? There's major payoffs to it. Major payoffs.
I know. Pity me. Feel sorry for me. Let's have a pity party today, tomorrow, next week.
If you get sympathy, you know what you're getting? Approval. If you get other people's sympathy, they're going, it's okay, Colin. It's like, I approve of you. Oh, great. Being a victim is easy. It has payoffs. I get attention. I get control. But they're all illusions.
Exactly.
It's all short-term kind of payoffs. Accountability is a longer-term focus.
And I guess it means that you're working with yourself.
And I hold all the cards. You see, this is the key, is that when I'm a victim, they did it to me.
Right.
Which means then it's their mess to clean up.
Right.
And I have no power. I gotta wait. I have to sit there all day and go like, okay, well, when that guy, does his thing, then I can do mine. Whereas if I am a co-creator, if I'm accountable for my life, then if it is to be, without sounding too cliche-ish,
it's up to me.
It's up to me. And so all the power comes back. If I created it, I can uncreate it. If I created it, I can create something new. I mean, I have options.
So you're saying
I have choice.
Right.
When I'm a victim, there's no choice.
Yeah. It shows you.
It just happened to me. So
if
I have no choice, and from that, I'm terrified. Because when we have no choice, we are in fear. When I have choice and options, I am free.
Wow. So it's the difference between dependence and independence then?
Pretty much.
Wow. And so what changes did you see in your life? Once you embraced accountability,
well,
what happened next?
Well, a lot of changes. I mean, I went from, you know, being single and selling cars to getting married and owning my own company and coaching and doing all those types of things. And then I actually had an opportunity 10 years later to learn it once again.
Learn what once again?
In long story short, I experienced carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, really?
I was unconscious for 2 days.
Unconscious?
Yes. And so
you
when
survived?
Yes, I did. And when I woke up, I knew nothing. I didn't even know my name. So it was a long process, about a 3 or 4 year recovery.
3 or 4 year?
Yeah. And there were times I was a victim of that moment. This happened to me. And eventually what turned me around and got me back in the saddle and back doing what I love to do and helping people through it was I was invited by the universe to do it again from scratch.
Really? So you literally were starting over?
Yeah. So that, you know, that for me actually, you know, when people say, well, prove it to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I didn't do this once. I did it twice. I came from the basement twice. And
so you're saying it's possible to rise up again?
More than possible. We're meant to.
We're meant to rise up. That's interesting. No, the reason I'm saying that, because I know people who don't feel that way. They feel like, hey, you know what? It's just one of those things. A lot of people call it luck. Oh, you know, oh, that person's, oh, he's lucky.
Yeah.
She's lucky. I'm unlucky. Pity me, right? Like,
it's easier to say it's lucky, unless you entertain that luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
I hear you.
Then everything changes.
Everything, so the whole, your perspective obviously changes at this point.
And preparation isn't about necessarily external, it's about internal. To be prepared for success.
I hear you.
Most people are not prepared to succeed.
Interesting. Let's talk about clarity. Because a lot of times it's easier to be confused than to have a sense of clarity.
Sure, but it's also scarier.
It's scarier.
Well, it's both, actually. It's scarier because I feel like, oh, I can't make a decision. It's also safer.
It's safer?
Sure. I know that's a paradox.
Precisely. I mean, okay, wait a minute here. Explain that to me.
Well, scarier I don't have to explain. I mean, when we don't have options, it's that. It's safer because when I'm confused, I'm not expected to do anything.
So the expectations just go out the window?
If somebody's sitting there saying, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, then they're like, it's okay, you sit there and be confused. so it's actually the safest place in the world. As long as I stay confused, I never have to make a choice.
Everything's fine. No decisions are made.
I don't have to make a choice, right.
No decisions
and if
are
I don't have to make a choice, then I can't be wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So you're not going on a limb anywhere.
And I'll hide there until the end of time. It's a great place to hang out. Now, it's got some drawbacks.
Oh, a lot of drawbacks.
You know, you're not going to be driving too many Ferraris or anything like that.
Right.
You might not have the love of your life in there. However, you're safe.
So you're safe, but it's not working for you.
Well, and eventually, though, this place of safety, this fortress of safety, becomes a prison.
Right.
You know, we had talked on the break about one of my favorite movies, The Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
And Morgan Freeman referred to it in that movie as being an institutional man. And he said, when you come into this prison, at first you hate these walls. But then a little time passes and you get comfortable with these walls.
You become accustomed to them.
Enough time passes, you depend on those walls.
Wow. So you become like a lifer, as the kids say.
Right. You become an institutional man.
Wow. Yeah. So how do you change that, though? How do you, because like a lot of people, if you ask people, they'll say, you know what? Even though, yes, I'm an institutional man, I realize it, but I want to change.
Well, then you are changing. You see, by actually saying, this is who I am, by telling the truth and acknowledging, wow, that's me. Now I am changing. It's not how do I change. As soon as I tell the truth, I am in the process.
So, you're saying the truth is extremely important in terms of helping you with your clarity, accountability, all those sort of things.
And there is a difference between, the truth and my truth. And there is a difference between, and truth resonates.
And what is that difference? The difference in the truth and my truth?
Well, I mean, in terms of the truth, I mean, people talk about that all the time, universal truth.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I'm not sure if they exist. You know what I mean? There's only my truth. I mean, there's my perspective. And again, we set out to be right. I mean, who wakes up in the morning and says, "Gee, I hope I'm wrong about something today."
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't happen, right?
Nobody says that.
Because it's like, I want to be right, and so that's what we do instead of learning.
Yeah.
When we're children, we're willing to be wrong and we're willing to learn, and then somewhere around, we get a certain age and we say, I got a handle on it all.
So we get.
How is that possible in a universe that is this huge?
Right. Nobody talks. Yeah. Nobody talks about. Let's talk about untruths, right?
Right. Exactly. We get stuck in what we believe, and we fear, looking at different perspectives because they're unknown to us.
I hear you. All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff. We're going to take another break. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. This is really interesting. We'll be right back on what's going on.
It has never been easier to become rich by investing in real estate. Sign up now to attend the REMIC Wealth Institute's next free wealth building seminar in your area. It doesn't matter if you have good credit, poor credit, or no credit. You'll learn how to invest in real estate with no money down, no income, and no credit. Call 1-888-887-3642 or visit www.remiccorp.com.